there's male beauty standards, there's female beauty standards. I actually think it's harder for a man to reach the ideal than it is for a woman.
Ideal meaning?
There's more, it's harder for men to reach this supposed beauty standard than it is for women to reach the supposed beauty standard.
What standards are you specifically referring to for men?
What standards? Well, okay, let's stray a little bit away from face and let's go to body. I would argue that if you let's take an 18-year-old woman and an 18-year-old man, it's going to be very easy, and I would say that so long as she's not like either side isn't overweight, the untrained female body is more likely to be deemed attractive than the untrained male body. So the average female body is more likely to be deemed as attractive than the average male body.
I get what you're saying. Like, girls are like, they wouldn't like things that guys like can't really change.
Well, okay, for example, like I would say that the female beauty standard is much more obtainable for women than the ideal male beauty standard is for men.
You're talking specifically about bodies, right?
Yes, specifically on body now.
So like fitness, abs, that kind of stuff. Can you get specific?
Well, okay, so obviously there's a different standard between men and women. I would say, generally speaking, I would say women are attracted to men who have at least some degree of muscular development. However, I don't think we can say the same about men's view of female attractiveness when it comes to their bodies. I think the degree of muscularity on a woman is not particularly like really huge.
They're different standards, but they make it less attainable for women to achieve these standards. I mean, look at the Victoria's Secret models. I mean, when the Angels came out, everyone was like, oh my gosh, if I could just have that body. And there was actually an interview by one of the Angels where she said that there was so much editing and retouching to even her size 0. I mean, she's not just skinny, she's fit. There was so much editing and retouching to her body that when she saw her ad at Victoria's Secret, she asked her mom to take a picture next to her ad, and her mom goes, wait, is that you? She didn't even recognize her own daughter. So it's not just about, I mean, I don't think that's true what you're saying. If there's a statistic, can we present a statistic on that? I would be interested in seeing that.
I just need my eyes. I don't need some, well, I mean, for example.
I need the proof, because statistics, I mean, if we do a survey of how women feel, like, is it harder for women to achieve these unrealistic beauty standards because there's so much editing and so much retouching?
I've written down some notes, so I'll address what you're saying. Okay, so let's say the female beauty standard is flat stomach, although you need not have abs, maybe a little bit of muscle tone, but probably not really necessary, and a healthy BMI. That's enough for you to have a physically attractive body.
I feel like in a woman's mind, like, that is not even close to it. I feel like there's so many more things, like your posture, like your hair, your skin, your eyelashes, your eye color. Like,
have you not been listening to the conversation? I'm talking specifically about body right now.
I thought you were just talking about female and male attractiveness.
I'm talking about body. We're talking about body.
Okay, continue. Okay. What's the next part of what you're saying?
So in order to achieve that, flat stomach, maybe a little bit of muscle tone, healthy BMI range, you just need to go to the gym. Yeah, honestly, you need not even go to the gym. This is achievable purely through diet. So, but if you really wanted to like somewhat maximize your beauty, go to the gym 3 days a week, eat like 200 calorie below maintenance, and you'll be there in a year if you're starting from average. The male beauty standard, that's rarely challenged by mainstream media, is literally unobtainable without 2, if not 3 of the following. So elite genetics, steroids, and 5+ years of treating the gym as a part-time or second job.
Oh, I completely disagree. Because a lot of the beauty standards nowadays, like especially coming from me, I've been influenced by media since I was younger than most of you guys. And always it's this Instagram model with a big butt, big boobs, little waist, you know what I mean?
Also-
Even then, working on, you say you go to the gym, you know, women don't gain muscle as fast as men. You guys
That's
have
a fact.
testosterone.
And they also don't,
We don't-
burn
but
calories
men
as
don't-
fast.
men are not-
A man
Also,
burns
Not
more
listening.
calories sitting than a woman does standing.
the healthy like percentage of body fat for a woman is significantly higher than for a man. I think a man,
Yes.
it's like, what is it, like 3% or
And,
something
okay,
like that,
let's-
and it's over 10 for women.
Okay, we can talk about body fat. I'm actually prepared to also say that in terms of what men will find physically attractive when it comes to a woman's body, there's actually you can fall within a larger body fat percentage range than can a man.
Okay.
So like for example,
But-
thick.
Yeah.
That's like a certain body fat percentage. I mean, we can debate what thick means, but there you can fall within a much wider range of when it comes to your body fat percentage as a woman and still be deemed physically attractive. Whereas for men to be deemed physically attractive or to have an attractive body, that body fat percentage
not
range
true.
that you must
No,
fall
'cause
into.
Dad bod. Hashtag dad bod.
That's coke. Dad bod's coke. Dad bod is coke.
Can I bring
Google
this
the
up?
truth about dad bod.
There's also not a baseline for like women. Not
Yeah,
all men and women
I
have
think-
the same
I
genetics.
think I agree with you over the last like 20 or 30 years, Brian. But if you go back to like the 1950s, have you ever seen the old videos of like the Kennedy high school athletic programs in the 1950s? It's like a program that certain high schools had for young men and other high schools didn't. And so you have like these old black and white videos of young men and they're hanging on jungle gyms, like 16, 17-year-old boys in high
I
school.
don't know. That's a kind of an exception though to the like.
Well, it's like within a year, these are 16-year-old boys. They're like shredded. They're like diced.
Yeah.
And so I guess the question is like, how much muscle does a man need to have to be attractive to women? Because I think those like fit young men are women into that, or are they into more of like a bodybuilder archetype? Because I'm bigger than
It's
those
also-
guys. Like I don't know what muscle mass or body fat women holistically prefer. I think that men physically have a harder time in this environment where there's like slop food in our society and everyone's lazy. But like if you go back just a couple generations, like it might not be true, might not hold true. I'm not sure.
Well, aren't you proving my point? You're saying it's now harder for men to achieve that sort of physique.
Yeah, so I'm agreeing with
but-
you in our like current paradigm, right? I
Okay,
think.
in our current paradigm.
society.
Sure. I mean, the one thing I would also point to when it comes to media portrayals, let's take leading men, for example. Let's look at superhero movies.
Yeah.
So you take like Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson. That's achievable like by a lot of huge swaths of women. Her
No.
physique.
You're
Yes.
wrong.
Yes.
Understand
No,
how
no, no, no,
much
no.
training
Hold
she
on. Let me
went
finish
through.
my
They're
point.
Totally
Let me,
wrong about that.
She literally went through so much training for
Bro,
any
you guys
Marvel
are full
movie,
of
you
shit.
understand?
Hold on.
Read anything.
Hold-
Do you
no,
know
no,
how
no,
much
no, no.
Marvel characters go through? They literally change their whole
She-
lives. And
Nope.
it is so unattainable, especially
Here's
when
the-
you have a regular job, you go to school,
Bro, you guys
you
are
do all these other things.
Bro.
It is so unattainable.
No. We can pull up pictures comparing the leading women in superhero movies. We can look at their physiques and compare it to the physiques of men. All the men, barring maybe one or two who are just genetically gifted, all the men in the superhero movies are on steroids.
Okay, so what you're
Point
talking
blank,
about
period.
is muscle mass, but that is not how women are viewed through the lens of
Attractiveness.
the attractiveness. Yeah, it's not about
I'm
muscle
not,
mass.
But that's not
So,
what I'm
for
even
example,
arguing.
this is great. This is actually like, let's look at Kim
not
Kardashian.
even what I'm arguing.
Kim Kardashian brought in like the BBL thick era, and I mean, I would say that she's like one of the number one women, her and Kylie Jenner, that our generation looks to as the standard of beauty. So in the 90s, that was not the case. So before, it was like, who were the supermodels of the 90s? Maybe like Karlie Kloss was one of them. And they were double zeros. I mean, it was like impossible like to be that thin. Most women are never going to be a double zero. Now we have Kim Kardashian with, obviously, I mean, this beautiful hourglass figure. I'm sure she has plastic surgery, which I'm not hating on plastic surgery, so please don't take that as my argument, but I'm just saying she altered her body, and now Kim Kardashian is the standard. So everybody is following that standard, and it's like, okay, now we have skinny is in now. So it's like these completely unrealistic standards, whether it's to be thin or to be overly curvy, that are not natural for
Yeah,
women.
They're ever changing.
They're ever changing.
Drastically.
Look, there are women who are more curvy than others, some naturally so. Obviously, things like, women don't have really any control over, for example, their breast size unless they get plastic surgery. I'll give you that. However, when we're speaking about things that are within people's control, for example, we are able to control our weight. Now, how that ultimately ends up looking, weight can be, fat can be distributed differently between different people, but ultimately you can be within like a healthy, you can be in a healthy body fat percentage, whether you're a man or you're a woman. So but you did kind of ignore my point about like, let's look at leading men and leading women in like superhero films. If you look at like the top people in media to have an ideal physique as a man, like look at the superhero movies. They're all on steroids.
Scarlett Johansson has plastic surgery.
On her body?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So it's, I mean,
What evidence do you have for that?
Google it.
She has
like-
breast job, or excuse me,
Probably.
boob job?
Oh, definitely, probably.
I
look
don't
even,
think she
so-
might. Maybe her face, but I'm not convinced her body is.
And
You know what I
Like
read? I think she
him?
actually had breast reduction surgery
Yeah.
at one point.
Okay, so
believe I
there it
read
is.
that as well.
She
so
chopped them down.
either way, it's plastic surgery. And besides that,
I mean, that's plastic surgery that is like public information as well.
that's what I was going to say. A lot of these women are getting, I mean, so many things done. Like, for example, let's go to the Kylie Jenner thing where she denied having plastic surgery. She had this total transformation. And again, no shame to plastic surgery. But it's like, if you're going to do it, please take ownership of it so we can stop
Also,
believing that these are natural.
yeah, I think it would have like people would have a better understanding of like what like plastic surgery, like how it actually looks on people, like
In real life.
yeah. Like,
Yep. I totally
Also,
agree.
like some plastic surgery isn't as like. I feel like a lot of times when people think plastic surgery, they think like extreme, like Kylie, who's probably had like 7 or 8 procedures to like.
Or more.
Or that look like sometimes
Probably more.
celebrities have plastic surgery that's very subtle and people might not notice like to be that way.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. I have.
Bender the Offender donated $99. Eddie Hall is a strong man who looks like he has a dad bod of sorts, but most of his weight is pure muscle.
Yeah, true. I don't.
Okay.
I don't think most people would consider him like a beauty icon for men, though, or an
Right.
icon of handsome masculinity.
Here, let's do this. Scarlett Johansson, she's in superhero. What is she? Black Widow? Is that who she is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick, can I have you pull up a Google tab? Search. Let's do Scarlett Johansson. Don't get excited, guys. Scarlett Johansson bikini, so we can actually see her body.
Also, the way she's presented in that movie is also edited, just like the men are edited.
CGI and everything. too.
CGI, yeah.
A lot of things.
Let us know when
Many
you have
movies
it.
wear makeup.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they have whole makeup trailers just to make them look better.
All right, scroll down. Scroll down. The wait, hold on. The far left top in the blue bikini top. Yep. That physique is achievable by like 90% of women.
Okay, so, but you're talking about her as Black Widow.
Yeah.
And also, I think that working out in the gym is achievable
Here,
for
let-
men as well. But I do see what you're saying, that there is an unrealistic standard for
well-
both men and women. And I think that we have just created this toxic culture where we're constantly idolizing these people and holding, especially women, but yes, also men, to unrealistic standards. And it makes it not only harder for us to be satisfied in who we are, but now we're living in an era because of social media where we're constantly comparing our partners to what we see online, and it's a fake representation of what is happening in real life. I mean, obviously, it's AI world. I mean, everyone's in AI worlds with filters and editing.
Okay. Well, I want to try to finally make my point on this. So, can you also pull up who's the girl with the whip? Fuck, what's her name?
Oh, Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot.
Oh,
Let's look
Gal
at her.
Gadot.
Then we'll look
love
at who's
her.
the guy from in Thor.
She's so
From what?
In Thor,
Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth. We'll look at him, and then we can look at Wolverine. We can look at who plays Captain America. We can look at all the superheroes. We can see their degree of physique. Go ahead.
So just to like, while we wait, just to recap, your point is on a scale of physical attraction, it is harder for a man to be a 10 out of 10 than a woman to be a 10 out of 10. That's like generally the point.
It's harder for a man to achieve an ideal man's
I think
body
it's
than a
harder for
woman.
men to achieve the ideal male physique than it is for women to no, let's not even say ideal, let's just say attractive physique. It's harder for men to get an attractive physique when it comes to body than it is for women to achieve an attractive physique. And I would say that there, in addition to the body fat range that I mentioned, I think that there's much more different body types that men will find attractive than women will find attractive. You have everything from like stick thin to fit, all the way to like thick, whatever, there's like a much wider range of different body types that men will find attractive versus what women
Do we
will find
have a
attractive.
like?
Thick
Yeah,
is
go ahead.
bad for
Let's pull it
men,
up.
but thick is good for women.
Gal Gadot. Okay, pull up the one.
She's ripped.
Yeah, I could
Pull
never.
up-
This is not a
Yeah.
good
Hold on.
example. She's totally
Yeah.
ripped.
Pull up the one Gal Gadot bikini mission.
Oh, look at her as
Wonder Woman.
Pull up that video
Sure.
if we want to
Yeah.
talk about that.
Well,
Wasn't she in?
I
That
think
is
it's-
Actually, she looks
totally
flawless in all
Wasn't
of
she
them.
in Israeli
unachievable.
Soldier?
hold
Yeah,
on.
she was.
Well,
What?
I could
Okay,
also
that is
never
totally
beat her height.
unrealistic.
scroll down.
Well,
No,
I mean,
no,
not
other
unrealistic,
side.
but harder to achieve.
Then hold on. Okay. I'm trying to actually. Could you X out of that one? Scroll back up to the top. Okay, the one with her in the hat. Scroll down. There's the one in the hat, and then the one next to it. Okay, scroll down. The other one actually.
So
No, but no.
just has
To the
good
right. To the right.
genes.
No, no, no.
So is your
It's
point
down, now
of
it's all the way
them
to
in
the
everyday
left.
life?
It's the
Or
one that
them
used
as
to be next to
portrayed?
it. It's all the way to the left. All the way to the left. The one all the way to the left from the cursor. Yeah. Yeah. This is like, if
She's extremely skinny.
yes, but like this is achievable.
For who? I've
not
never
true.
looked that skinny
Yeah.
in
Well,
my life.
so
It's actually really difficult
If the
for women
argument
to lose
is
fat.
that it's easier for a woman to look like that than it is for a man to look like Chris Hemsworth when he's playing Thor, that's absolutely true. That's absolutely
Do you
true.
disagree with that?
I would like to see the statistics on it.
What Okay, here.
How
let's
hard
just
is it
let's
for-
just
Like
use
if
our
they
hold on,
did-
hold on.
For
No, no,
a
no.
man to look
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Chris
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hemsworth while playing
Hold on,
Thor, he's got
hold
to
on.
inject trenbolone.
Hold on.
Like,
Let's just use our eyeballs.
Okay, but-
fuck the statistics. That's a photo of Gal Gadot. Is it easier for and Nick? I need you to pull up a photo of Chris Hemsworth
On the
Is
beach
it-
randomly.
Is it easier to look like that as a woman than show us one of the pictures from the one from the beach? What's more achievable?
that is achievable.
Bro, these chicks are ridiculous.
This
You
is
think that's more achievable?
I've seen people at my gym perfectly achieving that.
I
You-
think it's
okay,
harder.
in order,
It's
hold
a
on.
much longer
I mean,
to
definitely,
achieve
it's a
that.
commitment.
God, bro.
But
Do you
I'm
mean
never
so
gonna
is
get
women
these-
doing that?
You
No.
guys are You guys are
just-
hopeless.
I just-
You guys are fucking hopeless.
I think it's so weird how
You-
you like propose all these like topics as like it's harder for men or like harder for women. Like I feel like it's good to talk about, but like why does it have to be like harder for men or harder for women?
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Your point is that,
Okay.
but your point in talking, correct me if I'm wrong. Your point in bringing this up was that it's harder for men to achieve what's generally deemed as attractive for men in
Like-
the eyes of women than it is for women to
Like
achieve
what
it.
does
Is-
what does
that what your
saying
point is?
either yes it's harder or no it's not harder like do? Like I think
We're
like
li- we're-
talking
we're
about how
having-
it's hard for everybody is like beauty standards and what everyone goes through is important to share.
So
but
your
like
question-
why does someone have to like win? I'm just
So your
cur-
question is why we're having the conversation? I mean, look,
No, I'm asking like why it's posed that way.
I will say this.
Because it
Why-
is that
why- it's-
way.
I will say on this point, Brian is right.
Or it's just
but
the style of your
I don't
podcast.
think you need to look like Chris Hemsworth to be an attractive man. I don't think you need to be that far,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think you need to be as thin as Gal Gadot to be an attractive woman.
Yeah.
I don't think that's
That's
like
really
the
my
absolute
point,
requisite for being
actually,
attractive.
is like, I think that,
okay.
I think
Like,
that they're
I-
both unrealistic
We can
extremes
still have a
on
productive-
both ends
their
of the
job.
spectrum.
Yeah, they're supposed
We
to be
can still have like, a
superheroes.
productive conversation and talk
But-
about it without saying like women it's harder for men.
I mean, they make
I just don't think
millions.
they're
there's
good
this,
examples.
there's
You
this
just
trope.
have the
There's this
point of
trope.
this
You mentioned the
podcast.
reason I'm having this conversation is you brought up that there's this trope about, oh my God, female beauty standards, they're so unattainable. It's so unfair. Women have it so bad. And I'm sitting here and saying, actually, if you look at the truth, you look at male depictions in media, compare them to female depictions in media. We often talk about depictions in media. It's so these beauty standards are so unfair. Look at the women in the magazines. Look at the fucking men in the magazines. And I'm here to say that it's harder to achieve the male depictions of beauty than it is for women to achieve the female depictions of beauty. It's hard for both. However, you're not going to get through to me that it's harder. If you pull up the Gal Gadot photo, that physique is harder to achieve than Chris Hemsworth.
But it's not just about their bodies, it's also about their faces. Women are
Why
held
can't
to
you
an
just,
unrealistic
accept
standard in
that
their
it's
face
like
as well.
difficult for
Well, your
everyone
face
and
is your
everyone
face.
goes
It's gonna be
through
your
things.
face.
Like,
Oh
why
my
does
God.
someone have
Makeup
to
to
be like
lie.
the
You're
victim?
shifting the
Why is
goalposts.
makeup a
We
lie?
were having a conversation specifically about body. We can have a conversation about face. However,
It started on face and you changed it to body,
Like,
actually.
I feel like when
Not-
we're talking, none of us have ever been like, it's harder for women. Like, it's just so black and white.
Okay, so
Like,
you're
you're
tone
talking in such
policing.
It's an equal
absolutes.
struggle.
Instead of
it's
yeah.
not an equal struggle.
Why? Why do you believe it's not
I've
an
literally
equal
just
struggle?
laid out my argument. As a man, as a woman.
But I think like
Listen.
neither of us can
Bro,
like truly
you stop
understand what
can you
it's
stop
like
interrupting?
for-
Can you stop interrupting? Please let me finish.
Okay.
Repeat what I'll answer what your statement was. You said it was equal,
I thought we were
correct?
having a conversation.
Okay. So, a woman to have an attractive body or even the ideal body need not really ever step foot in a gym. A man to have an ideal body or an attractive body need step foot in a gym, need years of strength training.
You don't need years.
That's
I mean,
just simply
sometimes
not true.
Okay.
sometimes being big is too
Some
much.
people are
Too big,
genetically
too
more
shredded.
I'm
fit
not saying
without
like
working
bodybuilder
out.
status, but
Not
like a woman to have a physically attractive body need not necessarily ever step foot into a gym. However, I don't think the same thing can be said about men. However, let me remove the gym. A woman need not strength train to have an attractive body. A man needs to strength train.
That's
no,
true.
not if you want like bigger butt. You have to
That's
work
not
for that.
what I'm saying.
No,
I'm
I get what
saying-
you're smaller
saying.
waist. You
Like,
still
I'm
have to work
I'm
for
saying-
I know guys
I'm
that
saying-
look muscular without ever going to the gym. Like some guys are just
Really
like that.
skinny guys.
Okay, you could
yeah.
be an athlete, but like, okay, this is just not.
Still,
I'm just gonna
still,
move on.
regardless,
I guess
strength
we'll
training
just have
aside,
to
if you want to be an
agree to
attractive man,
disagree.
you're physically exerting yourself 5 or 6 days a week and monitoring your diet. If you want to be an attractive woman, you're eating at caloric maintenance, and you're just like, don't be obese.
It's just so different for everyone.
I mean,
Yeah, especially
then
genetics-wise.
there's like
Yeah. I
factors
think
of
women
like
have it worse.
cellulite and like saggy
What's that?
skin that are also
I
pointed
think
out.
that
as
women are
attractive.
under a stronger microscope. We don't have to
Don't
go
ask
on
that.
about this,
We've
but
been
I
on
do
this
want to
topic for
assert
so long.
that it is women are under a harsher, more unrealistic beauty standard than men.
Erroneous.
It's just point blank wrong. And
By what basis?
You're
You're
asking
going off
why
of
I'm
only-
arguing. You're asking why I'm arguing about that. It's because
No,
the
I didn't
point
say
that
why
you
you're
just made.
arguing. I didn't ask that.
Okay, well I think she was, but that's
Yeah.
why what I'm arguing against. And also, I'm prepared. I would say that, and this is you mentioned statistics. We can actually pull up some data pulled from the dating apps. Women are much harsher judges of physical appearance than men are
Not in body though, in face.
in everything.
Okay, I want to see the statistics
Okay,
on it.
for example,
Let's
okay,
see
no.
the dating app
Here we go.
statistics.
Here we go. So, okay, let's talk about things that are within control. So, women have more factors that are outside of when it comes to caring about physical appearance. Women have more things that they care about that are just out of men's control when it comes to their physical attractiveness.
Such as?
Sure. Okay. Let's talk about men who are bald, men who are balding. Men can't really control that. Women, generally speaking, prefer men who have a full head of hair. That's one.
So you're telling me you would be okay with a woman who was bald?
They can get hair transplants.
I mean, give me a
that's
break
not,
here.
That's
I think this is going around the merry-go-round, but I do think that we can agree that there are unrealistic standards for both men and women, and that it's fed by social media and, yes, dating apps and the mainstream media. And it makes it harder for people to feel fulfilled in themselves and also to find partners and and to feel fulfilled in their relationships.
Right, but I'm arguing with you because you said that women have it harder. And here, I'll lay out a couple things. So things that are outside of men's control that women care quite a bit about when it comes to physical appearance: height, hair, penis size, sexual stamina, sexual function. Now, let's ignore the last two: height, balding, penis size. Women care about these things. Men have absolutely zero control over those things.
Okay, what's
What's-
the list for women?
I wish I had a computer too when I was.
Can you
talking,
pull
so I
up
could
the
look
list
up
for
stuff.
women that men look at?
That are out of, yeah, tell me, what are the things that are out of women's control?
Without plastic surgery?
The only thing I
Because
can
guys
think,
can go
the
and
only
get a
thing
hair
I can think
transplant.
of is breast size.
Guys can get muscle
Your
implants
nose, your
too.
lips.
But that applies
Steroids.
to both. Let's talk gendered things here.
But are we looking at a man going, "Oh, his lips are small. I don't like him.
It's
Oh, his nose is crooked.
it's
I don't like
also
him."
more
know what I mean?
promoted for
Kind of.
women to get plastic surgery than for men.
Definitely.
Let's have a conversation about physiognomy. Let's have like a 90-minute talk about physiognomy and the face of a man, the shape of it, the,
90 minutes? I
the
think we should-
brow,
I
and
think we
your
should
nose,
wrap-
and your cheekbones, and the way
that
your chin
conversation, that
protrudes.
topic.
Let's have a deep
I don't
What
dive.
is
think
that
anyone's
word?
gonna budge.
Physiognomy.
Physiognomy?
Yeah.
Is that like the face, like the way it's made up? What is
Okay,
that?
let's not have a physiognomy.
we
No,
should
can
wrap
you just
that,
like what is like what can you
topic.
define it? I've just never
Yeah,
heard
it's
that word
it's a
before.
pseudoscience alleging that you can look at someone's the shape of their face and
Okay.
determine sort of the merit of their character, or you can predict their behavioral
Okay,
patterns,
like people
things
are
like
more
that.
likely to trust people who they consider attractive.
Yeah,
and
or
stuff
your
like that.
or
'Cause
like your face is a certain way, so maybe you're more aggressive or something like that. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
You're
to-
trustworthy or
Yeah,
you're
I've
not.
like looked
Yeah.
into things like that, so that's good to know a
Yeah.
name for it.
Okay, look, what I was trying to get at is there are more things out of our control as men that are pretty big deal breakers for women than the reverse. Like I said, height, hair, so if you're balding, and penis size. The only thing I can really think about that is specifically gendered towards women that they really can't control, I would say, is breast size.
So you think that if a woman was bald, that she would have an equal chance of women with hair?
What?
Well,
That's what you're saying. You're
women
saying that
women
big
don't
women
bald
don't
anywhere near
really
the same rate as men.
bald.
I mean, like alopecia. would
But
be
you're
a genetic
saying-
condition
Oh
or
my
something.
God. Are you guys really
You
arguing
know what?
like
You can get
balding-
exhausted over here, but you're saying that you said, so now I'm just using from your logic. I'm looking at this from your logic. You said that only apply to men, right? Only apply to men. So you're now bringing in that women can't bald into your assumption, which is
He's
just not
speaking
true.
in general.
Women
Who's
get
more likely to
extensions
bald,
all the time.
men or women?
Women get extensions all the time to make their hair fuller and more attractive. So what do you, so, and men can get hair transplants. Your logic is flawed.
Are we not operating in reality here? Because
I
I
just don't
mean,
think
that's
Your
it's
debatable.
logic is
Same.
flawed.
my logic is not flawed.
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
It's
let me ask you. Hold on,
flawed.
no. Hold on. Let me ask you a question. Is it wrong to say that humans are born with 10 fingers?
Well, some are
most
born
of
with
the time.
11.
No, but is that a wrong? Generally speaking, like, is that a wrong statement to make that humans have 10
I mean,
fingers?
technically,
They should have 10 fingers.
Okay,
they're
is it the
healthy.
case that some people have genetic abnormalities and some people are born with 11 fingers?
Yeah.
see, I would be
It's
into
not
that.
wrong to say that humans are born with 10 fingers. Because of men's biology, they're more likely
Their
to
Al
bald
Greenbaum
than women.
donated $100. Balding in women is substantially less common.
Thank you.
You can't use the minority to prove a point.
Do some
But
women
you're-
bald? Do some women bald? Yes, but it's like
So if you can't use the minority to prove a point, then we do have to actually look at the other facial features of women, like their lips and their nose. Because what are the statistics?
If you can't use the mind,
Because you're saying that we can't look.
But both men and women have those features. We're speaking about strictly gendered things, and I'm saying that women don't like men who are balding,
And men don't like women
who are also balding. But that
and
ignores the fact
other facial features, like if they have too big of a
Oh
nose or too small of lips.
women have those exact same assessments of men's faces.
It just gets so hostile and so repetitive, you know?
Because it's such a bad faith argument to say women bald too at the same rate as men.
I'm not arguing that it's at the same
You
rate as
literally
men.
brought up women balding.
I'm saying that it happens sometimes also. Like it's like you're trying to say that men are held to a higher standard than women in their physical appearance, and that's just not true.
If I don't know what the percentage breakdown of if like at what age men start losing
Why
their
is
hair.
it so hard just to like agree on that it's like difficult for everybody?
I think we
Like,
did
can
agree
talk
on
about
that.
other things.
But it's definitely not harder
other
for
things in
men.
dating, we can talk about
Yeah.
other
Bro,
stuff.
it's just so bad
Come on.
faith when you
on.
I
ask
think
me
it's
for examples.
I think
Being
it's
like a
bad
little bit
faith
of a
to not
martyr,
bring in
I've-
statistics that prove that men are under a more magnified scope than women when it comes to their facial features and physical appearance. That's just not true.
Okay, we can actually pull up some infographics. So we have some infographics here. Nick, if you're able to go find them, we can pull up the Bumble height one. We can pull up, let's see, hold on. They're in the Dropbox podcast
But
infographics
these are
folder.
just people seeing each other on a dating app too. It's not like.
Most people meet on dating
but
apps
is it
nowadays.
meeting in person or is it when someone looks at a picture of someone on a screen?
we can.
I'm just asking because you said the statistics are from Bumble.
One of these infographics is from Bumble.
Okay. So is it in person like statistic or is it when someone looks at someone on a screen? I'm just
You can try
asking.
to throw away all the data we have from dating apps, but the
I'm not trying
reality
to throw it away,
can
I
you
was
yo
just
can you stop
asking.
interrupting? You can try to throw it away. However, the reality is most people do actually meet online on dating apps.
Oh, no, okay, I'm just asking, is this info like gathered from people meeting in person or is it gathered from someone like not meeting someone and just looking at them on a screen?
The data I'm about to present comes from dating apps.
Okay.
Okay.
You know, maybe the screen is even more important because people uploading photos to a dating app, they're uploading presumably their best photos.
Right.
So this is them in their best angle versus real life, you know, it's not quite so favorable.
All right, so here's Nick. Here's the ones I need you to pull up. There's the Bumble height one. Are you in? Okay. And then if you scroll down a bit, there's OKC new chart. There's OKC, OKC1, OKC2, OKC message, MSG. Drag those all over. Let me know when you have it.
I'm getting delirious.
Bro, we should just go
I'm
do
just
molten
sat in
core.
the
We gotta
corner,
get
not
out of here
sitting
and just
down
go
for
kill
so
Lucifron,
long.
dude. Let's go get a binding of the
The other thing is
Thunder
that women
Fury.
aren't just held to this standard by men, it's by other women because we're comparing ourselves to other women and what we see online. So it's not just from men.
Do you have it, Nick?
I got 4 almost there.
Okay. We'll start with the Bumble height one, and then we'll just move through them as quick as we can.
And the last one's OKC MSG.
Yeah, so you should have pulled up OKC new chart, OKC, OKC1, OKC2, OKC MSG, and Bumble high pref.
I think I got them all. We'll start at Bumble.
Yep, perfect. Okay. Sweet. You need to control mouse wheel up a little bit so we can see this. Okay, so this is specifically with height. So Bumble filters set in advanced filters by female users by height. Scroll a little higher, more. Make it bigger. Make it a little bigger. So these are filters that are set in advanced by female users. So they're saying, I only want to match with men this tall or higher. So it starts getting, 5'10", 5'11", 6 feet, more. So this demonstrates that, women do care quite a bit about height. It somehow peaked at 6'3", 6'4", 6'5". That's not the super important one. Let's look at the next one.
Well, keep in mind earlier we learned that if you're over 6'3", you're in the top 1% of men's height, right?
Mm-hmm. Scroll up on that one. Perception of male attractiveness versus female attractiveness. Men as rated by women versus women as rated by men. So men rate women on a pretty even distribution bell curve, whereas women are much harsher judges of physical appearance. This is from OkCupid. Next one, please. And I think these other ones, make sure you mouse wheel up. Okay, this is how, one down, please. Scroll one down. How men rate women. So this is kind of echoing the last stat that we looked at. So, and this was published direct from OkCupid. So men rate women, there's a pretty even distribution there, whereas women are very, very harsh judges of men. They put, what is that?
0% of men are considered most attractive.
Yes, and so this is pulled. This was released from OkCupid. Next one. Oh, and this just shows both of them. Yeah, that's fine. You can do next one. Next, yeah, you can scroll up. And I think there was one more. Actually, I don't know if that one's super important. The reality is that women are swiping no on the vast majority of men on dating apps, especially if you look at Tinder, where it's like based off of purely physical appearance. So, I mean, that would suggest to me that women are judging men much more harshly than men are judging women when it comes to physical appearance.
Okay, maybe that's true in dating, but I don't think that it is the overarching truth for media in general and the unrealistic standard that women are held to by, again, not just by men, but by each other and by the mainstream media and social media. Hence why women use more filters than men, why women get plastic surgery, why the magazines are retouching our photos to look like completely different people. So
let me ask a question. Considering how harshly women judge men, is it possible that women are engaging in those behaviors because they're also harshly judging themselves?
And each other.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like I feel like it's kind of human nature to feel like if you're subjected to something, then you're gonna kind of return that energy with your outlook, unless you're like actively working on that or like checking yourself for that.
I mean, okay, we're going to move on from this topic because